not able to predict what's going to happen tomorrow. So business was in VUCA world. And in today's world, experts believe that business has moved into Barney world, where they say it is brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incomprehensible. With lots of changes happening in economic and political scenario, social disruptions, unpredictable events like wars between Iran and Israel, Ukraine and Russia, and several disruptions happening around the world, we find lots of turbulent changes in the business world. So we find a paradigm shift from UCA to Barney world, and therefore there is a need for business firms to reinvent themselves and orient to all these changes. So in the UCA world, we find that there is hyper competition, there is advancements of new technology coming very rapidly, there is changing mindset of customers, there is destabilized markets, and downturns and upturns in the domestic economy. So all this proves that business is a battlefield today, and business firms have to find ways to fight the battle and emerge as stronger winners. Here we find the Barney world, which is brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incomprehensible. When you say a business is brittle, there is a need to embrace agility. The business firms needs to be resilient to face all the challenges and move forward. They need to foster inclusivity and remain differentiated through innovations. Again, when we say non-linear, there are lots of ups and downs, and there is no impact or outcomes that we expect. And therefore, we need to adopt agility systems and promote very clear practices in our business. So this calls for lots of change among business firms. And in the future years to come, many experts say that business world is going to enter into RUPT and tuna world. So what is RUPT and what is tuna? Here, RUPT, R stands for rapid, U is unpredictable, P is paradoxical, and T is tangled. When you say tuna, T stands for turbulent, U stands for uncertain, N stands for novel, and A stands for ambiguous. So these acronyms provide lots of challenges and lots of unpredicted moves among business firms, and therefore there is a need for business firms to change themselves rapidly and adapt to all these changes in this economy. So when you talk about all these changes, there is an imperative need among business firms to remain resilient, remain attentive and mindfulness to all the changes around them, be a very quick and agile adapter of technology, and remain transparent and ensure trust among all people in their business firms. So one way to do all this, one of the most important skill to bring all these into reality is possessing creativity and innovative skills, which brings success for the business firm. So as Steve Jobs said, innovation distinguishes between a leader and follower. It is very important for business firms to remain innovative, to survive in today's fastly changing market, and lead to the changing technology, customer expectation, and competition. So it is not the strongest of the species of companies that survives, but the most adaptable and quicker one, which is able to accept the change and move forward. So this calls for greater a change in the mindset of companies, where it is important to build this innovative culture among employees across all levels and departments in the company. There needs to be a seamless cultural transition in the mindset of employees, which calls for a greater participation from the business firms. So before moving into this topic, let's be clear with what are the terms referred to. What is an idea? So idea is nothing but an original thought with or without logical sense. What is creativity? Creativity is coming out with useful and novel ideas. And when you put this new idea that are novel and useful into new products and services, it becomes innovation. So when creativity is implemented and transformed into a new product or a service, it becomes an innovation. So what are all the different types of innovations that can happen in a company? Can you tell me? Hope there are many students in this group. Hope I'm audible for all of you. Can I have some response? I believe there are a few students in this group. Yes. So what are all the different types of innovations that are possible in a business? Can you unmute and speak? Few innovations that can happen in a business. Yes. Okay, let me go ahead. There are 9 kinds of innovations that have been possible, that has been made possible in a business firm. They are product innovations, process innovations, service innovations, business model innovations, disruptive innovations, breakthrough innovations, organizational innovations, and outcome-driven innovations. It's not innovation that can happen through coming out with a new product or a new technology or a new service. So there can be innovations in creating a new business model, bringing a radical shift in the user-friendly models. All this calls for innovation. So coming to this picture, can you identify what is the problem in the first picture? The first picture we see there is a line of people waiting in a queue to withdraw cash in a bank. This is the problem that people faced few years back, right? So what has been the solution? There came an ATM, and now you see people making it very, very, very user friendly through mobile banking. So to solve this problem of standing in a queue and withdrawing cash came ATM, and afterwards you see mobile banking bringing a solution for the problem of the customers. So earlier we had this kind of big phones, then we had handheld mobile phones, and today you have palm friendly, user friendly mobile phones. And for those places where you don't have internet connectivity, Google came with a project called Project Loom. Though it was a failure, it was an innovative attempt made by Google to bring in internet facility to the backward areas. And in our common life, we see several innovations like this happening in our daily household life, right? So all the lands are getting shrink today, and agriculture is getting very much complex and challenging today. So there came an innovation through which vertical farming is encouraged today to meet the food needs of people around the world. So here we have pill packs, which helps elderly to dispense with medicines at proper time. And here Google levies an idea has resulted in bringing out a commuter trucker jacket, which helps in navigation, communication, and giving music for the users. So these are all the few innovations that have made our life quite easier. And therefore, it's imperative that innovations are the most sought after by business firms to adapt to this world today. So here comes a very common day-to-day trendy device for women to nail polish their hands. And here is a swing where both parent and child can enjoy. This is a pen with periodic table, and all these innovations have made our experience gratifying, fulfilling, and have made our life quite comfortable. So all this proves that innovation is must to compete in this world and move forward. So if you see how can organizations succeed today, there are few management approaches which are made more essential today. One is design thinking, which calls for exploring the problem and coming out with innovative solutions. And the next one is lean methodology, where you try to reduce your waste and build the right things for enhancing your efficiency. And third comes the agile management systems, which calls for accepting everything very quickly and moving forward. So in our talk today, we are going to focus on design thinking, which is a framework for innovation. As Tim Brown, CEO of IBM, said, design thinking is a human-centered approach to innovation that draws from the designer's toolkit to integrate the needs of the people, the possibilities of technology, and the requirements of business success. So these are the three elements which are more important in design thinking. One is understanding the needs of the people, which leads to desirability. The next one is integrating the technology or the innovative process to make the new product, which talks about the feasibility. And the third one is when you integrate innovation and develop a new product to satisfy people, it will also require a result into business success in terms of results like profitability and so on. So these are the three requirements which are essential for design thinking. And if you see why design thinking is more and more important today in the service-oriented world, we find globalization very common today, rapid advancement of technology happening in mass production. It needs to have new products coming out all over the world, and this calls for innovation. And second one, today customers are the kings, and they wanted user-friendly approach. They wanted to experience very fulfilling and satisfying experience with using the products, and therefore this calls for innovation in business. So all this necessitates that companies should try to innovate and bring innovative products and services into their everyday business. So as we see here, we can't solve problems. We're using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. And we need some kind of different kind of out-of-box thinking. And here David Kelly says that we believe the next generation innovators and leaders need to be great design thinkers. It's most important for the management to understand that it's not the top level professionals and professional experts from outside who can contribute to innovation. It is most important to understand that employees across all levels should have this innovative mindset and contributes towards innovation in their company. So with this picture, we can understand what are the three requirements or three elements for design thinking. First one is we need to understand, as we say, design thinking is a human-centered approach. We need to understand the pain points or problems or needs and expectations of customers, and accordingly design an innovative product. So any innovative product based on design thinking approach should have the first element called desirability. And the second one is any innovation calls for utilizing the innovative technology that's the current trend. So this innovation calls for adopting the feasible technology to make that innovative product. And when you are able to understand the needs of customers and design an innovative product with the latest technology, naturally, this calls for bringing the viability for the business. So these are the three things which are most important for design thinking. One is desirability, second one is feasibility, and third one is viability. In this picture, you can see, though there are very many experts to give you a very good design, user expects a different kind of solution for giving him a fulfilling experience. So we need to understand that anything that we innovate should give an user experience for the customers, and that brings success for the innovation. It is not that because of your expertise and technological knowledge, you design and come out with an innovation. So that innovation should have the backing support of customers, and through using that innovation, he should have a very satisfying experience, which is most important. Here again, this shows what are all the different kinds of innovations that can be possible through design thinking. First one is functional innovation, which leads to an innovative product service. And second one is emotional innovation, which again will give a very fulfilling and satisfying experience for the customers when using this innovative product. And third one is process innovation, where you come to use an innovative technology and come out with the new product. So ultimately, design thinking will give you an experience innovation, which is most important in today's market to fight the competitors. So ultimately, now let's see what is design thinking. It is nothing but the methodology of taking human desirability, technical feasibility, and economic viability to create business or brand solution that are meaningful, productive, and profitable. Design thinking leads to innovation such as functional innovation, process innovation, and emotional innovation. So, with this background, let's go in deep into understanding how it impacts business today. Why do you need innovation in business today? Here you can see applying design thinking encourages the company to create excellent products or services which directly impacts the success of a product or service. So when you adopt design thinking as an innovative approach, which will help you to create a good design and come out with an innovative product that fetches satisfaction or fulfilling experience for the customers. So this makes you understand why design thinking is important. So results are most important. Business results are most important. The innovation that you create in design should also fetch you business results. So design thinking can be successful only when it gives good business results, right? So this is why we emphasize that all companies should move towards adopting this design thinking approach, which leads to innovation in them. So when you talk about this design thinking, there are 5 important steps that have to be followed. The first step is empathize, where you need to identify the pain point of customers. Second one is define, where you try to identify the root cause of the problem, why it has occurred, what are the triggers that has resulted into the problem, and you try to create the problem statement. So once your problem statement is ready and you have understood all the triggers, now you'll come to ideate, where you come with multiple ideas to plug the pain points or problems. You'll generate many ideas and you will select the best workable idea, which will be later converted into a prototype and tested and finally verified, validated for success. So these are the 5 simple steps involved in design thinking: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and testing. This is a very common logical process, right? So Stanford Design School has advocated that these are the very simple 5 steps that's used in design thinking process to identify the problem, to come out with the solution, and ensure satisfaction for the customers. So this is how it goes. We try to empathize with the customers, understand what is their problems, which calls for lots of observation skills, which needs lots of hearing skills, right? When you try to observe a lot, hear a lot, you try to come to know of problems around you, and you try to come out with ideas to solve those problems. You will try to develop a prototype, test it, and validate them for success. So in this step, there are 3 important phases. One is inspiration, second one is ideation, and third one is implementation. Inspiration is nothing but calling for identifying the problems, trying to find out why that problem occurred, and identifying the triggers. And once you identify what are the root cause of the problem, the triggers, you can now come out with ideas to solve that problem, and you can do prototyping and testing. So these are the simple 5 steps involved in design thinking. So there are 3 E's for design thinking, which is nothing but empathy, which is nothing but very simply understanding the problem or pain point of people. What is their need? What is their expectation? What they desire to bring their life very comfortable, to make their life more enjoyable. What is that they need? So this is what is empathy. Once you have empathy, you will try to move with people, understand what are the pain points, expectation, needs, and you will try to come out with innovation. So to come out with innovation, you need out-of-box thinking, an expansive thinking mindset. And many a times, all innovations are not successful. You need lots of experimentations to be done, very many number of trials to be taken up, And there may be ups and downs. There might be success and failures, which calls for a challenging mindset. So these are the three E's for design thinking, which is empathy, expansive thinking, and experimentation to be done. Now, this slide will help you to understand it more clearly. So what are the two things that are most important in design thinking approach? This one slide will explain you the whole process of design thinking. As we said, design thinking approach should first focus on desirability of the users, feasibility of the technology, and viability of the business. So these are the three important elements which makes design thinking more successful. In today's world, we find several companies coming out with innovations, but not all innovations are successful. They might fail because they will be lacking to understand the user needs. They'll be using a wrong technology, which will not give them good profits. So, my dear friends, kindly understand that these are the three important elements which bring success for design thinking concept. One is be very strong in understanding what is the user's needs and desires. And to fulfill them, you use the technology that is prevalent today, that is available today, use the innovative process and come out with an innovative product or service. And this should give you good profits and make your business very viable. So these are the three important elements. So to make these work, first important thing is you need to understand the problem where you need diverge and converging skills. Once you understand the problem and fix the problem through an innovative solution, that will help you to pinpoint the right solution and come out with an innovative product. So this is the summing up of design thinking approach in one illustration. So understanding the problem requires discovery, definition of the problem, developing those problems into problem statements and coming out with new solutions, and finally delivering the product or service to solve their problem. So here we need to understand first what is the problem among users or customers. How can we solve it? What assumptions are being made? So what are the root cause for these problems? What are the sources or triggers that leads to the problem? And how will we plug all this problem? So what needs to be the assumptions made? This should be very clear in the first stage, namely empathy. This is what is empathy. You need to understand the needs and problems of individuals, which is most important, right? So with the empathy, you can understand what is exactly they require, what is their requirement, what is their need, what is their want. For example, for a working mother, they don't find time to educate their children, teach their children at home. So what are the solutions available? Normally, we take child to a tuition center. So it's very difficult to take them. It's probably difficult for mother to take their child to a tuition center. So what are the other options available? So finding out this is what is design thinking approach. Normally, while taking the child to a tuition center or bringing a teacher at home and having home tuitions, these are all things that are followed. But what may be the innovative solutions today? Can I have some answers from the audience, from the students here? What are the innovative solutions for this problem? What are the innovative solutions you would suggest for a working mother who wanted to teach their child at home, other than taking them to tuition centers and having home tuitions? What are the other approaches? So this is what is using the design thinking approach. So what can be the other approach? You can have learning platforms. You can make them learn at home. Yeah. Can I have some answers? What are the other options available? We find this to be a very challenging problem for working mothers today. It's very difficult to engage their children today. So what are the other options available? So finding the other options is nothing but using the design thinking approach. Let's see how it works. So as I said, the first one is empathy, which calls for using empathy maps. You try to speak with users or customers, you try to hear to their problem, you see to their problem, listen to their problem. You also read from various sources about their problems and identify what are their problems. This is what is empathy mapping, right? You try to do empathy mapping. This is empathy map canvas. You try to record what you see, what you hear, what you read, and try to come out with the problem. So for this, observation skills, listening skills are more important. You need to listen a lot. You need to observe a lot, right? So here we see rainy seasons, children are fond of having umbrella. So what innovative umbrella can you design? Right? These are few innovative uses of umbrella. Bottle where you have an umbrella as a cap, right? So once you do empathy mapping, second step is to define the problem and understand the pain points. It is nothing but finding the root cause analysis of the problem. We use 5 why analysis, 5W analysis. You ask why, and come to the root cause of the problem, and you be clear with what is the problem statement. Commonly, customer journey maps are used to identify this problem statement. We try to record the experience of customers, whether it is good experience or bad experience, and we try to record them and find out how we can plug that pain point. So here comes one example. For example, customers trying to do an online shopping, and we try to record his experience in different processes, right? From searching the product till it is delivered, what kind of experience he has. So wherever you get that positive experience, we try to take it to next level. And wherever you get that bad experience, you try to take it to next level by plugging that pain point. So this is what is customer journey mapping, a very common tool used in identifying the problem statement. So once you identify the problem statement, the third step comes with ideation, where you need to develop lots of creative and innovative ideas. So the ideation is a process of coming out with lots of ideas, where you use brainstorming as an important tool to come out with ideas. You throw open the problem to the public, and you try to group of mass of people, and you try to come out with lots of ideas from them, and then you select the best ideas to go ahead. So this calls for involvement of both kind of brain, left brain and right brain. Your left brain is responsible for critical thinking, and your right brain is responsible for creative thinking. So design thinking requires both your left brain and right brain to activate. So left brain is required for logical thinking, whereas right brain is used for creative thinking. So as you see in this picture, so creative thinking and critical thinking are important for problem solving, right? You can see here. So to come out with different ideas, you need both critical thinking and creative thinking. And there is yet another classification called divergent thinking and convergent thinking. Divergent thinking is nothing but coming out with multiple ideas, and among all those ideas, you try to validate and select the best idea, which is convergent thinking. So divergent thinking relates to figuring out new ideas to solve the problem despite existing solution. So coming out with multiple ideas, as you see in this picture, is divergent thinking. And among all those ideas, when you select the best one, it leads to convergent thinking. So when you adopt the design thinking approach, it is very much essential that you use your critical thinking, creative thinking, convergent thinking, and divergent thinking skills. Right? This is how people use those things and try to come out with several kinds of innovations in products. Right? Multi-level car parking, AC bus stop in Dubai. This is how using sensors, automobiles are parked in Japan. This is glass undersea restaurant, Maldives. Right? These are all the innovations that have been made possible through design thinking approach, where it's purely based on giving the users a very fulfilling and satisfying experience. Now, the next question comes here: whom to involve in ideation? All people are to be involved in ideation today. You can invite ideas across all levels of employees. It is not the research and development team. It is not the professional experts from outside, consultants from outside who has to be involved in this process. It is very much essential for the business firms to educate all their employees to have this creative and innovative mindset. So all employees across all levels of organization should be involved in ideation. So how to ideate? So whenever an idea strikes your mind, it is liable that we tend to forget. So we need to have an idea notebook always in our vicinity. You can also use post-it sticky notes for um, recording your ideas. When and where it strikes your mind, you need to rethink those ideas and validate them. So when you talk of ideation, you need to have fluency of ideas. You need to have lots of ideas. In the beginning of the idea generation, it is not encouraged to stop with one or two ideas. As we receive more and more number of ideas, we'll have both good and bad ideas. It is most important that you receive all ideas. So we need to encourage fluency of ideas. For example, what can you build with bricks except all types of buildings? So here is a question for you. What can you build with bricks except all types of buildings? We build houses, schools, hospitals, right? We build buildings like this, banks and all that. Apart from this, what can you do with bricks? So here is the answer. We can build dam, we can build a chimney, road, platform. So likewise, you have several ideas coming here. So it's more important that you generate fluency of ideas during idea generation. It's also equally important that you have flexibility of ideas, right? You need to have both good and bad ideas. You need not select whether the idea is good or bad in the initial stage itself. It's more important to have inclusive ideation. You need to think it 360-degree angle, which calls for sensitivity. So now coming to, we have seen why ideation is important, how it happens. Now we'll see what are the tools that are important for ideation. Here comes the list of tools. As we all know, brainstorming is a very powerful tool. 6W, asking why again and again till we go to the root cause of the problem. Then comes 6 thinking hats, business model canvas, mind mapping, idea matrix, role playing, storytelling, users participation, and value articulation statement. So let's see each thing in a very brief way. All of us know what's a brainstorm session. We try to open the problem among the audience and we try to source several ideas from them. We do not select whether it is a good idea or bad idea. We just try to jot down all the ideas and then validate them to select the best idea. So this is a very powerful tool initially to come out with ideation. This is a tool for coming out with identifying what is the root cause of the problem. 6 W's. We also say it as 5 W's and 1 H. We also say it as 6 Y's or 5 Y's. So this is very important tool for identifying what your problem is. This is 6 thinking hats, which will give you an idea, a dimension of idea in different aspects, positive, negative, in the form of statistics, in the form of futuristic perspective. This will give you an impression about that idea in different dimensions. We call it as 6 thinking hats. Next is business model canvas, which will help us to identify very clearly what is our requirement, right? When you prepare a business model canvas for your business, this will clearly help us to understand who are our customers and how are we to give them an innovative product to satisfy them. Here is the ideation canvas. Most powerful mind mapping technique. All of us are clear with this mind mapping technique. Here is idea matrix. These are all the very powerful techniques which are being used to come out with ideas. Here comes the fishbone analysis, which will tell you what is the cause and effect of a problem, of a uh, phenomenon, right? Here comes an example why the firm has less market share. So this can be postmortem into different factors like staff. That can be problem related to staff management. There can be a very poor decisions and branding strategies. There can be lack of promotional efforts. It can be very poor competitor analysis or other factors like social, economic, and political aspects. So this will give us a very clear approach in understanding the problem and coming out with different factors why that problem occurred. So when you're able to pinpoint what factors are responsible for that problem and you try to plug that factor, there comes an innovative solution. So fishbone analysis is otherwise called cause and effect diagram, which will help you to come out with several factors that leads to this problem and move solutions. The powerful technique used by corporates today is storytelling. Several leading corporates use storytelling as an approach to enhance their brand loyalty and brand trust among customers. They employ brand ambassadors, digital influencers, virtual influencers to build brand story. Amazon, Nike, they all use virtual influencers to identify what is the requirement of customer to build their brand among the customers and engage the customers. So storytelling is a very powerful tool today to engage with customers and give them a very nice experience. Next comes the Delphi method, which is nothing but expert opinion method, where you try to hear to the opinion of people and try to come out with innovative solutions. We employ business consultants, professionals who are good in innovation, who are good in business innovations and try to roping their advice. But normally it is gone off, this approach has gone off, and today it is imperative that all employees across all levels seamlessly must be developing an innovative culture for business success. So management should take effort to build that innovative culture among employees. The most powerful and commonly used technique among all companies to come out with innovation is SCAMPER. SCAMPER is again an acronym which stands for substitute, combine, adapt, magnify, put to other use, eliminate, and rearrange. Let's see a very good example here. So when you say substitute, you are replacing a part of your product, service, or process with another. When you say combine, you're combining the parts together. For example, washing machine with dryer. You're combining two functionality into one product and coming out with it. Adapt. You're trying to make this product adapted to different situations, different places, right? Modify. You're trying to bring the size into smaller size or bigger size, and you're trying to modify the product. Put to another use. The same product can be used in different ways. Today, we don't have digital cameras, right? A smartphone takes the place of a digital camera. This is putting it to other use. Eliminate. You are trying to eliminate a particular part and you're trying to build a new innovative component. Eliminate. Reverse. You're trying to change the position of the function of or in the product and you're trying to build up innovations. So this is what the SCAMPER model, which is very, very popular among all companies today. Let's see how SCAMPER is used by KitKat. We all know KitKat, right? See how they have used SCAMPER idea. This is the original KitKat chocolate and they have substituted with several other ingredients and come out with different innovative products. They have combined two different products and made it into one. See how they have adapted. They have used multiply or magnify strategy. Right? This is how KitKat has used SCAMPER technique to come up with innovative products. Let's see how different products have been made using this technique. These are few examples that have made use of scamper model. Pepper and salt device, cup and saucer. This is a beehive extractor that has been designed like a mini house. This is a ladder cupboard where you use it for dual purpose as a ladder and as a cupboard for storing things. This is candle witch matchbox combination technique. Ladder cupboard uses put to other uses technique. Here you are combining. This is one cycle that can be driven by both mother and the child. So this is again shining roll, which uses scamper technique, right? So likewise, scamper techniques are used by all corporate firms to develop innovative products. This is a very powerful and common technique available. And we all understand India is known for innovations, right? Before Western people entered into India, they colonized us. India was known for innovations. We were the first to come out with chess, the concept of zero, plastic surgery, and all that. There were several eminent people, mathematicians, philosophers who brought several successful innovations in India. We all speak in great length about Rajaraja Cholan, who has done several business innovations, right? So we all call it as Jugad innovation. Jugad innovation is the home term that refers to low-cost innovation that's proven, flexible, and feasible innovations that's possible in India. These are few examples of Jugad innovations done by Meetiku brand. We are all very, very, very cautious about our health and we wanted to use clay products. So understanding the needs of users, they have come out with very many number of kitchen utensils made of clay. Today, when you visit a marriage hall, you find huge tons of plastic spoons and cutlery is being wasted, right? So Bakeries has come out with edible cutlery made of spoons, plates, and forks made out of chola, which is edible. And today you have even cups and saucers made out of edible the chola. Here comes low-cost heater and shower for backward people. This is a low-cost Jugad innovation where it can be used as a heater and shower, dual purpose. This is again a Meetiku product, which is non-electric, low-cost refrigerator and water coolers. This is a neonatal incubator, which is low-cost, very smart innovation of this last few decades. You know, incubators are very costly, and when mothers from backward areas give premature birth to babies, it's very costly for them to have incubators. So this is a social innovation that has been developed in India, which is cost very low amount and which is very easy to handle by the mother. So again, here comes an example of Titan, which has used technique for scamper technique for coming out with very many number of variants in watches. Now coming to the last technique, we call it as future streaming. This is purely a visualization technique, prognostication technique, which will try to visualize how your future will be and you try to design products accordingly. So how do you visualize living in 2030? We try to understand what are all the changes that are going to happen and we try to design innovative products related to that. Here are a few innovations that are going to come up, that have come today and they are going to increase in future years. We are expecting that drones might deliver products right into our doorsteps. We can understand how drones are applied today in all areas. Then Google cars, driverless cars are way more possible today. The use of virtual and augmented reality, which makes our experience very pleasant and enthusiastic. Here comes 3D printing, which makes it possible for us to build a car, build a house, or prepare a food of our choice. These are all going to be ruling in the future. With fossil fuels getting depleted, we are in the mercy of using other energy sources. So we are expecting that solar and thermal energy, wind energy will be playing a greater role in our future energy needs. And here comes our automotive transition. We are expecting high-speed hyperloops to take place of bullet trains and other transit systems available today. So, as Richard Branson says, business opportunities are like buses. There is always another one coming, and therefore it's very important for business firms to use this opportunity and keep themselves ahead in this business race. So, to keep them ahead in the business race, it's more important for them to adopt the innovation, develop this innovative mindset, and come out with lots of innovations for the success. So with this, I take this opportunity to end my discussion. And I thank once again Coimbatore Management Association for giving this opportunity to speak on this topic. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Aarti?
Ma'am,
Yeah. You can give the vote of thanks, Aarti.
thank you so much, ma'am, for spending a valuable time with us today. And you have given us new dimensions to innovation, entrepreneurship, and new depth to these concepts that we haven't explored before. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a great
Thank
pleasure
you.
having you with us here today.
Thank you, Aarti. It was nice spending time with you and sharing the little kind of insights that I had on this topic. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity given.
Sure, ma'am.
I can leave, ma'am.
Ma'am, Suchitra, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank you all.
yeah. Yeah. Can we end the meeting? Okay, ma'am. Thank you.